Redmi Note 9 Pro falls in the middle of Redmi's new Note 9 series. This phone is basically the Redmi Note 9s but with better cameras. We are going to take a look at its cameras today, so before we begin, press the subscribe button, bell icon and hit the thumbs up button too. Note 9 Pro's main camera is a 64 megapixel Samsung GW1 sensor. It's accompanied by an 8 megapixels ultra-wide camera, a 5 megapixels macro and a 2 megapixels depth sensor. On the front of this phone is a single 16 megapixels camera. Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G's image processing is being used here. Looking at the camera app, first of all, shows us nothing different than the other Redmi and Xiaomi phones. The app comes preloaded with a document scanner. Macro mode can be enabled from the top. The dedicated 64 megapixels mode is there. The phone further has its portrait mode, night mode, panorama, and in the Pro mode you can capture in RAW format. It's also got a Pro video mode in which you can switch all the lenses. In the video mode you can go all the way up to 4K at 30 frames per second and also shoot in the 1080p at 60 or 30 frames per second. The front camera video is also capped at 1080p at 30 frames per second only. This phone can also do ultra-wide videos and that is also shot in 30 frames only. Short video mode is also there and the slow motion is definitely there. The slow motion works for the front camera too, but only at 120 frames per second. Now I have taken the images in a number of lighting conditions in almost all the modes of this handset. You might have seen some of these images in my other camera reviews because I shoot with 4 or 5 phones at the same time in order to save a little bit of time. Here is my own image first of all. At the moment you are taking a look at a 64 megapixels image. In 64 megapixels mode, the AI HDR zoom in and out do not work. This image has the highlights under control, skin tone looks fine and details are great as this is a huge image. I find the colors very good. In fact, the colors are very deep. The edge detection also seems to be fine in this one. The same image in the normal 16 megapixels mode now and you will find a very small difference here. The main difference is of the details as this is a considerably small image. I find the saturation going under control in this image. If you take a closer look at the shadows, you will find them accurate in this one. Looking at the high res and the low res images side by side, you will find everything absolutely the same except for the saturation and the color differences. Shadow management in the 16 megapixel image is very good. It has balanced them well and that's only because of the HDR working in this mode. There is a color boost in the 64 megapixels image while colors are also under control in the normal 16 megapixels image. The rear portrait mode looks very weird. Of course you can change its settings, but here with out of the box settings you can see some parts of the image is going blur while the remaining isn't blurred, making this image look strange. In the ultra wide mode the colors go more towards the yellow side. We lose details here, dynamic range gets better but the image has little to zero sharpness. All the images side by side now and you can see the differences clearly here. Among these images the normal 16 megapixels image has the best color composition and the overall look. Let me know what differences are you finding here and which is your favorite image. Let me show you some more 64 megapixels versus the normal images and the differences will be evident. The 64 megapixels mode greatly misses on the highlights at times, leaving the images dull, and sometimes this mode is very useful under broad daylight where you don't want the colors of the object to be blown off. Especially in the image that you are taking a look at, you will find the colors and the saturation under control in the 64 megapixels mode side. Ultra wide camera of this handset in my opinion is pretty useless. Images look good only in the fully zoomed out mode. These images have no room for any zooming in or even post processing. This is a good camera to bring in more scenery into one frame, otherwise its colors are completely on the opposite side and some parts of the image do not even remain visible. Let me show you some more normal images outdoor and indoor now. I like the edge detection of this handset, no complaints there at all. When you are close to the subject, the background blur is also pretty impressive. I am completely in love with the depth effect brought in by this phone. Images come out warm mostly and I believe that has to do with the Samsung GW1 sensor of this phone. The shadow management could be better, but it's only acceptable for now. Let's hope that Redmi improves these few things in the upcoming updates. Overall, the images are turning fine. Sometimes the phone oversaturates some colors, but that depends on the condition you are shooting in. Macro camera of this phone is something that I do not personally like. Redmi needs to improve macro camera performance. Colors captured from the macro camera look very odd. Night mode of this phone works against my expectations. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be this good, but it definitely greatly improves the images. Night mode images have a lot less noise as compared to the night mode performance of Samsung smartphones. This phone also has a Samsung camera sensor, but we know that the GW1 sensor is known for its low light performance, and that is what we can see here as well. I think the image processing also helps this phone here. I genuinely find the night mode images very impressive. I wish this could work for the front camera as well. The selfies taken in the broad daylight have a cool color tone. Selfies have a pinkish skin tone on the top. Details are not the very best in this class, but overall look of the selfies is very good. In the normal selfies, the edge detection is good, but in the portrait, it will wipe off some of the edges. Selfies taken in the low light look equally good. All the selfies taken from this phone have a very soft touch. You can increase or decrease the beauty effect of this phone from the front camera mode settings. Now the videos. We are starting off with 4K at 30 frames per second video first of all. This phone doesn't have any kind of optical image stabilization, and its electronic image stabilization works only for the 1080p at 30 frames per second videos. The rest is on your screen, and I will let you be the judge for these videos. In the 1080p at 60 frames per second, no image stabilization can be seen once again. For these modes, you either need a gimbal or you need a super steady hand, or else you can just use a tripod to capture a video while you are stable. The phone can further do 1080p at 30 frames per second videos, and here the stability looks very good. It can also do 1080p at 30 frames per second in the ultra wide mode, and now this is the video without anything called sharpness, details and good colors. It looks more like a low-res video shot on a very old camera, but its stability is definitely on par. Now you will be able to watch the front camera video. Hi guys, this is the front camera video recording from the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Now this phone has a 16 megapixel sensor on the front, and you can see that how it's capturing the colors and all the aspects in this video. Now this video is basically to give you an idea about its mic recording quality as well. So let me know down in the comment section, how are you finding the color composition, how are you finding the highlights, the dynamic range and the sound quality coming out of this phone's video. Time for the conclusion. There is a lot of room for Redmi to improve the ultra wide and the macro camera performance of this phone. Video performance is just average like any other Redmi phone of this league. There is nothing special going on there. The main rear camera and the front camera have a very good performance, and these cameras deliver great images. Redmi Note 9 Pro's camera goes neck and neck with the likes of the Huawei Nova 7i and the Galaxy A51. It costs exactly the same as the Nova 7i and the Galaxy A31. and about $60 less than the Galaxy A51. Keeping all this in view, the Redmi Note 9 Pro is a great choice, and I would actually prefer this phone over the Redmi Note 9S, the Nova 7i and the Galaxy A31. Just for a few extra bucks over the Redmi Note 9S, you are getting a much better camera combined with a very powerful specifications sheet. Let me know about your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video useful, do hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon as well. With that said, I will sign off and I will see you in the next video.